So good afternoon everyone. Let's start the our webinar. I welcome you all for this SOC 2 related webinar. This is Dr. Jigar Doshi. I'm representing 4C Consulting. I have 20 years of experience into this management system consulting certification and related to various standards and services. And before I start presentation, let me just go through the small our introduction video of 4C Consulting, and meanwhile other participants can also join that. uh, And am I audible now?
Yeah, now it's on.
No. So basically, we have started 4C Consulting into 2005, and since we are into this management system consulting and certification. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are able to.
Okay. So basically, we have started 4C Consulting in 2005, and we are into this management system consulting certification training since 2005. And you know, over a period of time, our experience also, we learn that the whatever the services and processes or systems we work upon at the clients, and it has to be sustainable. So our aim and our methodology will be like to deliver the services on and develop the system that is sustainable and customized as per the customer. That's why we have come up with this we make you sure. So we are not only there to just give the guidance, but we will ensure that things are implemented and sustained as well. We have our portfolio or service portfolio divided into three segment: process excellence, operational excellence, and business excellence. In process excellence, all this management system certification related consulting, you name it, the ISO 9001 basic quality management system, environment, health and safety, food safety related standards, automobile and aerospace. We have more than I think 150 around clients for automobile and aerospace. Energy management, we are the very first consulting company who have started into energy management. And then is ISO 27000 or SOC 2 or IT related standards. We have presence across the India, outside India as well. Laboratory accreditation, risk assessment, assess management, or social and sustainability related standards. This ESG, carbon footprinting, all we have services, even water footprinting or anti-bribery related services standards. We are into this. In operational excellence, these all lean and Six Sigma tools, standalone tools. We do training, consulting for these various tools. Also, we have our own methodology develop model for specifically small and medium scale company, where they can continuously improve the processes and operations. So we have I think around 150 clients for this operational excellence related as well. We do work on this business excellence improvement strategies and all those things. ZED, Government of India, is initiative for zero defect, zero effect. We are also master trainer and master consultant for ZED and as well, and other services related. We do work on business excellence related. We have more than 2500 clients across the globe. We work across the India, outside India also we do have presence, and we have more than 20 consultant teams, and overall staff more than 40. We have office in Ahmedabad, but we work across the India. These are the few of the clients. Means starting from Tata, 3M, or biggest of the companies, we work with the smallest of SMEs who have 5-10 people of staff. Across the segment and across the industries, we have our presence. Now coming to our webinar topic, SOC 2, which is systems and organization controls basically. So today we'll briefly go through the what is the information security and what are the security controls, what is SOC 2, more details about the SOC 2, requirements of SOC 2, and how you can implement SOC 2 into your organization. So we'll try to cover almost all these requirements. So but first, why information security? So you all must have observed that this Facebook scenario, that many data are breached, and a company like international company like Facebook has also lost their value. Mark Zuckerberg has has to face many consequences. In the past, you must have heard about Yahoo's data are user data are leaked. In many of the elections, also you must have heard, okay, these data are shared and these data are uh, breach and publicly available, and so there are many instances. You must have also heard about many of the cybersecurity incidents where banks data are theft, or your personal data or bank details are breach, and few of the frauds that happen. So this all, there are various risks and various incidents are you must have experienced or gone through it. So this information nowadays, and it said that information is the next gold or next big thing. So that security of this information, and specifically your personal information, is very much important. So to overcome this kind of risk, it is very important to have some system, some certification, or some processes in place, so that your information has to be very secured. And if any organization is working on the customer data, very sensitive data, then it becomes more critical. So information security. So first, what is information? So information is what we are currently talking or discussing, that is also information. Something written on a notebook or on a page, that is also information. The what we are transmitting our data, that is also information. Data published on the website, that is also information. So anything written on paper, stored on electronic files, transmitted through servers or networks, or verbally spoken, displayed on a website, displayed on a portal, stored data, everything is a information. Now the purpose of information security is how you can appropriately or suitably protect all this information, keeping in the mind that it's not corrupted, or unauthorized access, or theft, lost. That is the information security. So the protecting this all information, whether it is available in soft copy, hard copy, physical, or in cloud, or wherever it is stored, or however it is processed. So that is the information security. And it has to be keep in the mind that it has to be appropriately or suitably protected. Overprotection is also a issue where the organization will not be able to work the way they wanted to work, or there is a lot of restriction is not also advisable. And underprotected is also just sake of doing the things doing is also very not advisable. It creates the risk of unauthorized access or data lost. So then it needs to be a suitable measures like encryption, data erosion, or masking, or protection of the networks, or the kind of the things. And that is the information security. There are various standards which are connected to IT industry or information security, as well as a few of the ISO 27000 must have, all of you must have heard about. That is a information security standard. There is a law in UK, GDPR is there. This SOC 2, which is again compliance related information security, and then HIPAA is there, health insurance industry related. Then Consumer Protection Act. India is also coming up with the law, DPDP. So there are various standards and processes, or the system management systems are there, and each of every of has their advantage, disadvantage, their requirements, and applicability is there. SOC 2 has mainly focused on that security and the organization control, that data security, privacy, availability, and all this. 27 very similar, which is very internationally recognized standard, ISO 20000, which is a service management. It's a quite a bit. 20 and CMI is a quite a bit different, though they are for IT industry mainly, but they are morely focused on SDLC and that how the processing or the processes are there, where these standards are SOC 2 and are on more on a security and organization accuracy and integrity related there. And this SOC 2, other from that certification, here the attestation, the report preparation will be done, and mainly driven or mainly required in the American USA region, where more service industries are. If you are into service industry, then it is more demanded by the customer and specifically of USA related customers. Now SOC has a three framework, basically SOC 1, SOC 2 and SOC 3. SOC 1 is mainly for internal controls on financial reporting. So it's more about the financial reporting, and it has a controls related to financial management, and mainly by auditors and user, where that financial transaction and auditing are done, where there is a more applicability in such kind of organization. SOC 2 is on security, availability, processing, integrity, confidentiality. So it's mainly over information security. And SOC 2 is, the reports are mainly has a more details about the internal controls, mainly related to security, are written into it, and mainly where you have NDA with the customers, management requirement, where it is more required. SOC 3 is very similar to the SOC 2, but this kind of reports where organization want to publish them publicly. So in SOC 3 similar controls are there, but they are the more confidential, organization details are not written into it, so you can publish it at public level. SOC 2, where all your internal controls, your confidential controls, how you have applied policies, all are written. So that's why SOC 2 is generally organization submit to your customers only, where direct connects are there, and SOC 3 are publicly available. Basically SOC is very not I mean in from 1972 this are there, and in but in 2010 this SOC are divided into SOC 1, SOC 2 and SOC 3. And in 2017 this standard SSAE was latestly revised, and this control SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3 related controls are latestly updated. So generally people don't know about that. SSAE 18 is the standard where the requirements and auditing criteria is required, but it's mainly famous by the SOC 2 or SOC 2 reporting or compliances. Now coming to the SOC 2 compliances, so basically SOC 2 is, as I said, it's a framework, or it's a guideline, or a requirement documentation or a standard that how organization will be or they should protect the customer data, or the whatever the data they are processing, internal data from unauthorized access or security incidents and other vulnerabilities. So how they can protect that, all requirements are mainly it's published by the AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accounts. And so this is the one of the standard, or very few of the standard who are published by the CPO, or in Indian we can say a chartered accountants firm. So this AICPA is American Institute where this CPA public accountants are certified, and they have published this standard. And SOC 2 assessment or report has to be attested by this CPA. American Institute certified CPA are the authorized who has to finally attested this report or approved this report of SOC 2. We'll see how this reporting and auditing works in the coming slides. So as I said, that this AICP was founded, and they have published this standards and make it into implementation by the auditors. Why SOC 2? So first of all, it's a customer driven. So if customer demand. So it creates a more trust in your potential as well as the existing customers, that okay, all control systems are in place where their data, their critical data will be secured and processed with the accuracy. So that is the foremost advantage of going for the SOC 2. So it will give the trust in the customer. Also it will help finding the new customers. Also it gives the formal audit reports, very comprehensive audit reports, and where all the controls and everything is are written down with the effectiveness of the control. So you can submit to your stakeholders as well. Definitely if you are looking to penetrate the market of the USA, it will give the better edge or than your competitors. And it's gives the satisfaction to your client that okay, absolutely there are basic more than basic things for the information and security controls are will be implemented in the organization. Mainly the IT or companies where they are dealing with the customer data, storing data into the clouds or processing data. This kind of service organization mainly goes for, even accounting firms go for this, where managed IT services are there. So whoever organization who are working with the data, who is going to store the data, process the data or manage the data, and specifically a customer data or their private or personal data, where this kind of clients demand SOC 2 mainly. So coming to the SOC 2 requirement, this SOC 2 is very different than ISO 27001 in a such a way that all this entire standard is divided into 5 trust criteria. It's called trust service criteria. This trust service criteria 5 are security, confidentiality, availability, privacy, and processes integrity, which is very similar to the annexure A of ISO 27001. So all these criteria are nothing but the requirements of information security. These 5 TSC or trust service criteria are further classified into 64 focus points. So focus points are nothing but 64 requirements. We can say 64 requirements are that this 5 service criteria, trust service criteria, has a total 64 requirement, and this 64 focus point may have a small many requirements. Out of these 5 trust service criteria, the security one is a mandatory criteria. Organization can choose out of these 4: availability, processes integrity, confidentiality, and privacy, whatever it's applicable and whatever they want to implement. So they can choose, but going for or security criteria is a mandatory. And total 9 common criteria are there, and for the security. For remaining additional industry specific criteria will be there, and these all sub criteria will be having a total 64 requirements are there. So security, or we can say this security covers these 9 common criteria, which is mandatory, and rest of the if organization wants to select all 5, so it's absolutely good, and they can demonstrate that all criteria are implemented and their systems are very much in control and have a proper security controls implemented. But depending on the type of industry and what they are delivering, they can try, they may omit or they may not select any of those 4 criteria depending on their choice. Now coming to the individual criteria, let's go through how these each of 5 criteria are and what are the few of the requirements are there. Security is mainly securing about your processing facility, It's more about securing your networks, securing your data storage system, securing your resources from unauthorized access, uh, deletion of data, or some of the malicious attack or something. So, and it covers physical and logical both. As I said, this security is the mandatory criteria. The compliance with this TSC trust principle or trust criteria is mandatory. It has a total of 9 common criteria which are common for all the irrespective of their industry or work. Its criteria, 9 criteria is common. Some of the example: access control, or intrusion detection, or antivirus or malware detection, firewalls, risk assessment, incident management or incident handling. How? So these are the few of the example of the security controls. So access control means the providing or controlling the access to the those who required the access, or based on their role, based on their processes, and based on the requirement. So how organization, how they are identifying the access, whom to give the access, up to the entire the life cycles, managing the access, and on the completion of the work, how they are removing access. This entire access control related are the requirements. Same way antivirus or malware, how where or in all the systems they have antivirus install, how patch management of the antivirus detection, or what actions they have to detect if any virus or virus are identified. So all those policies or all those systems has to be defined in this few of the controls. Availability is now talks about the how your systems or services are remain operational in the case of there are some of the incident or some of the malicious attack or some of the unwanted things happen. So it's more talks about the service level agreements in all of the unwanted or undesired condition, how organization is able to deliver their service levels, or achieve their service level agreements. So what they have committed to the client, what are the systems and processes are established in case of any unwanted undesired situation occurs, like server is down, or your critical hardware failures, or physical sites are not accessible. So in that case, how organization is equipped with to deliver the services, and that's business continuity and disaster recovery is one of the critical controls. So what are the backup protocols, backup systems are there, and how they easily or quickly able to backup revoke the backups, how they are able to get it live, their disasters recovery sites, or the second sites where they can move the people and they ensure the works are in place. Capacity planning is also, because without the capacity of all the resources, this disaster recovery is not possible. So these are the few of the controls which falls under the availability criteria. Processing integrity, it's about how we are processing securely, we are processing our data, and we are ensuring whatever the processes are means data are processed are secured, accurate, and on time. So this trust criteria covers about the integrity of the work or integrity of the data processing or information processing. Few of the example we can say: input data or data processing, output data controls, encryption and description of the data, password management on platform. If you are working with the payment gateways, how key managements are there. So all those data processing, coding, secure coding guideline. So all those things will be the part of this trust principle. Confidentiality is the fourth one. So depending on the sensitivity and requirement, the how the informations are protected from unauthorized access, specifically client data or IP, intellectual property, or some of the critical data. So this related requirements are there. So it covers the classification of data mainly. Now for implementing all those requirements, it is very important to classify, because otherwise how the employee or the relevant people will know that whom to protect and whom not to protect, or what level of controls we organization has to put. So generally classification does in like confidential, internal use, and public data are like your website, your brochure, where which you can make available to all outside the organization. Internal use is the way you can circulate or make available to the all the employees of organization, like your management system, documentation, policies. These are the internal informations circulars or something. And confidential is something you which you wanted to restrict to the few group of people, like your salary data, promotion data, the IP addresses, passwords. So all those are the confidential info. Based on that, this classification of the data or information classification, organization has to define and implement the controls. Like once this your data processing systems like a laptops or server hard disks or some things are used and they are corrupted, or their life has end, then how we are securely going to disposal of that mechanism is one of the control. So this kind of network confidentiality, how to share the network password, where to store the password to ensure the confidentiality, these all are the requirement of this fourth trust principle. Fifth trust principle or trust criteria is the privacy. Now the organization who are dealing with the personal information, where it is more applicable and it is more in line to GDPR or CCPA law. So in India also this law is DPDP is also going to come. So it's morely talk about the how you are collecting the personal data, how you are going to use this personal data, retaining or storing that data, and after the use how you are going to dispose that data, and what is the entire your policy processes related to that is the part of this fifth trust principle, which is the privacy. In working with USA, UK, or nowadays in any of the country, this is the most critical part, because it has some of the legal consequences as well. So mainly talk about before using that data, generally they can take the consent of the user. So nowadays many of the mobile app, many of the website or some of the data where you are filling the data, they are taking the consent, okay, that we are not going to use for this data for personal use and blah blah blah. So that is the one of the controls they have implemented. Now once you collected data, how we are going to store it, storing the or personal. Now say for example, if it is stored your personal identification numbers like Aadhaar or other are stored, even mobile number, then it has to be stored in encryption. So if it is a theft, or somebody has hack them also, they will not able to use it. So that is also one of the controls which shall be implemented under this privacy. Then what time, till what time you are going to retain this data, store this data, that policy for each of the data is the requirement. How we are going to delete this data after the use, that is also one of the policies needs to be set. And there is also one of the, if any of the unforeseen, because of the unforeseen situation, if your data is breached, and data is get public, then how we are going to notify to individual as well as the government body if there are rules and regulations are there. So these are the few requirements where organization has to define policy processes and have to show the implementation against that. So basically, as we discussed, there are total 5 trust criteria: security, availability, process integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. As we discussed that there are total 9 common criteria. So these are the 9 common criteria which is irrespective of the industry or your work or your processes. These 9 common criteria are applicable, and these are the mandatory criteria. First is the control environment, second is the communication and information, third is the risk assessment, fourth is a monitoring of control, fifth is a control activities, sixth is a logical and physical access control, seventh system operations, eighth is a change management, and ninth is a risk mitigation. So this each common criteria has multiple requirement. Now control environments. So in the what are the server bifurcation or a network bifurcations are there? Do you have a test environment and live or production environments are different? What are the controls? How they are segregated? Firewall, network diagram. Communication and information. What are the communication channels? How secure the communication channels are there? Risk assessment, risk mitigation, the entire risk management. These all standards or requirements are based on the risk assessment. So depending upon your processes, your current level, current capacity, you have to identify risk related to each of the processes, each of the services, and if there are high risk, how we are going to mitigate it or reduce it or eliminate it. That is the 9 criteria. Ninth number criteria is there. So that is about the risk management, monitoring of control, physical access or logical access are the access control related requirements. System operations, we have already discussed that how your operating systems, network, servers or processing software all are secure. How we are managing your SDLC, what are the secure coding guidelines if you are into software development industry, that requirements are there. And eighth one is a change management. Change management, it's not only about the changes of management system documentation processes, but it also talks about the patch management, how we are going to update your software, update your systems, what are the controls and what are the mechanism is the requirement of the criteria number 8, the change management. SOC 2 documentation, so it's not like ISO 27000 where we require the Apex manual but it is more similar where the level 1 or first documentation is system description is required, where more of it's related to your organization system overview of your processes, department, work culture, what are the infrastructure, software and data, or how we are working, or what are your systems are there. It more description about it. Second must be policies and procedures. So all these control, whatever we have discussed, all the controls related policies and how we are going to implement this policy, so that procedures are there. And to showcase your implementation, if you have any templates, formats, or you are using any softwares, then their records and has to be there. Third is the control metrics, where we have to demonstrate against all these 5 trust criteria and 64 the requirements, how we are going to comply it, or what are the policies, procedures and implementation. That kind of one matrix or one list has to be there. So it will be the easy for the CPA and auditors to assess the requirement. Other documentation like management assertions or vendor agreements, business continuity and disaster plan, security, absolutely training logs, change log, some of the document control systems, all are will be the part of the fourth other document. So in this four level or four type of documentation is required for SOC 2 implementation. These are the few of the criteria. It's not, you can say it's a thumb rule, okay, has to be followed, but any of the cloud company, then they should go for all this criteria. Banking industry, mainly security, processing, entry, confidentiality and privacy is the requirement. So this we have tried to map it based on, because the point is that it is applicable to any of the service industry, which is software development or a fintech or banking, even accounting for HR or processing, payroll processing companies are there, e-commerce platforms, definitely IT managed services, edtech platforms. All those are who are dealing with the information, and which is a critical information. They should they may have requirement from their client or regulatory bodies, or some of the if they are going to work in the USA market, there is a requirements are related to these controls are there. Now what is the we have as of now or till now we have worked, I mean go through the requirements of SOC 2. What is SOC 2, why SOC 2, what are the requirements are there, or what are the trust criteria and how we have to implement. Now there is a one another part, that SOC 2 audit report. So SOC 2 audit and SOC 2 audit report. So SOC 2 audits are a little bit different than ISO audits. So it's a moral reports at the end of the audit. They are not going to provide any of the certificate, but there will be a comprehensive detailed attestation report where all the controls against each of the control, what is the return, means what we have implemented and what is the status, everything will be written into it. And one of the things, these audit reports or auditors are licensed, has to be licensed CPA, American certified public accountants firms, or individual CPA who will be going to finally attest the reports. So being the CPA, if they do not have competencies or know-how of information security, so they generally hire some of the technical experts who does the report auditing, and then the CPA verifies or attests that reports. Now, as I said, it's not going to be like, means they are not going to provide any of the certificate or something. So if you, irrespective of you are passing or you are failing, they are going to provide you the report where everything about each of these 5 trust principle criteria and the controls, what is your practices, are written. But if we were to generally qualify or quantify the result, we can say first everything is there, it will be passed. They may give you some of the comments or some of the area of the concerns where company needs to improve it. If companies fail totally, they do not have this implemented, they can classify as a adverse or failed. And some of the information, if organization not able to provide some, like say for example, what is your network diagram, or what is your patch management process, if organizations are not able to demonstrate and show the policies and processes against that, and then auditor will not able to conclude the results as well. But in any of the case, they are going to provide the report, and everything what is your current practices will be written into it. Now SOC 2 reports are also of 2 categories: SOC 2 type 1 report and SOC 2 type 2 report. These are basically depends on the two type, basically 2 types of audits, different audits. Type 1 is a single point time, means at the point of the moment what are the implementation and what are the controls are in place and what is your system, that is the type 1. it's more like a ISO 27001 audit or any of the ISO audit. On a particular audit day, what are the controls are implemented and what is the compliance with it, that is the written. Whereas a SOC 2 type 2, it is over a period of time they will verify, mostly 3 to 12 months or a 6 month of data they will verify, auditor will collect that report, will take evidence of that, and then it will ensure that over a period of time these all things are implemented in place. So the SOC 2 type 2 is more like a sustenance report, where they will ensure that things are implemented for over a long period of time. So generally clients or customers demands for a SOC 2 type 2 report only. The more of the cases customer demand SOC 2 type 2 reports only. So who can perform? So certified CPAs are only licensed to perform. If any of the agencies or something are not certified CPA and not listed into AICPA website or other data, then they are not authorized to do that. They can anyone can give the report, but it will not be considered valid reports. So this is up to SOC 2, their requirements, how to achieve it. So first step is to finalize the scope of the certification. Means scope of the certification in the sense what is applicable, what offices, what locations, what processes, what services you want to cover. That first finalize. Accordingly you determine which out of these 5 which trust criteria you want to include. As I said earlier, security is the mandatory. Out of the 4 which you want to go for, if you want to go for all 5, then you select the 5, or any of the privacy you want to exclude, then that's how you determine what TSCs you want to include in the scope. Once this TSCs and scope and processes are finalized, then third step is the gap analysis. Gap analysis nothing but you have to do your as-is study and define what is your current level and what things to be implemented, or what rest of the parameters you have to work upon that. So once you have identified after the gap analysis, okay, on this 15 things, 20 things you have to work, then prepare the roadmap for each of the activity, each of the criteria, prepare the documentation, implement all those criteria, ensure that you have a minimum 6 months of implementation of data. If you are willing to go for SOC 2 type 2 reporting, before that going for a SOC 2 type 2 assessment, you should have one internal assessment readiness review, so you have a good results into SOC 2 type 2 assessment. Before going for assessment, you should identify the certification agencies or assessment agency, and with the prior date of commitment, SOC 2 assessment will be conducted, and then they will submit the final report. So this is the basic roadmap for achieving the SOC 2 assessment or attestation. This is something which we wanted to cover in this webinar. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. If you have any of the query, anything, please raise us right now, as well as you can raise afterwards as well. But your questions are welcome now.